GearNetwork.com.
The following is a presentation of the Gear Radio Network.
Hey guys, it's Sleazy. So we've had a lot of issues with recording this week. So between schedules getting changed around and all that fun stuff, and then we lost a bit of audio, we're going to actually go back into the vault this week. This episode is actually from the very first episode we did when the coronavirus started closing everything down. And it's just an interesting retrospective from where we are now versus what happened back then. So check out the episode, and we'll see you next week when we talk about WWE Crown Jewel, and we'll probably actually talk about Bound for Glory as well. Have fun, and on to the show.
So, Fat Man.
Sleazy.
You dead yet?
Not yet.
Well, let's talk about that on the wrestling show. Welcome, everyone. This is Sleazy.
Mr. Fat Man, you sound like shit.
Oh, I'm fine. It's just been a long day. It's
tell me about it.
10 o'clock on Friday night. It's March 13th, and honestly... Friday the 13th, yes. We're actually coming to you pretty close to as live as we're going to get, probably.
Yeah, this is not a regular episode that we're going to cover.
16,000 shows.
Yeah. This is kind of like a for all the shit that's going on in the world right now. Obviously, the coronavirus is shutting down everything. And I said, let's talk about it. Like, let's just throw a show up and talk about it.
And I was like, fuck that. And then he talked me into an actual show.
Which was like, hey, you want to do a show? And you're like, sure. That was it. That was the fuck that.
That was the fuck that. So, holy shit. Let's give some context on where we're at right now. So, like I said, it's 10 o'clock, March 13th. Today, Cuomo has basically banned any large gathering in New York State over 500 people. So it canceled a bunch of things, including the AEW show that was supposed to happen. It's coming Wednesday in Rochester.
Trump did a national national emergency on it today. And that AEW show is now not taking place because it got moved to Jacksonville, and now it's not taking place. So,
wow.
And then SmackDown just ended tonight. That got moved from Detroit to the Performance Center, which I just got out of work. You messaged something about how it was one of the strangest shows you've ever seen.
Yeah, well, I ended up watching the first match, which was a tag match with Boston Hug Connection. So, your favorite tag team?
Well, no, not my favorite tag team. I got Sasha.
Well, versus your other favorite tag team, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
Alexa.
And it was the strangest match I've probably seen in a long time.
Was there a crowd?
No, there's no crowd. No crowd?
Nobody was in there.
Nobody was in there. There was literally the ref, three cameramen, the timekeeper, the four wrestlers, obviously, Michael Cole on commentary with Triple H.
Really? Yeah, you hear a cat meowing right now. I just got home and he wants loving.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it was strange. There was a lot of tongue-in-cheek humor from Triple H, obviously, because that's who he is. I enjoyed it, to be fair, but it was strange. It was real strange. It was like what you would expect if an apocalypse happened. I mean, there's really no other way to put it.
Like, and now WrestleMania is what, we're 3 weeks out?
We're 3 weeks out from WrestleMania. There's technically they had highly recommended that to the local authorities in Tampa and just in Florida in general to maybe you should cancel everything. Tampa claimed that they're leaving in WWE's court. WWE a day later said, we're waiting on the government to shut us down, but otherwise we're not doing it. So, I don't know what the hell's going on.
They said they'll give it another week to see where the climate is on it, and then we'll go from there. Yeah. Look, you're having the NCAA men's basketball tournament, the most profitable and most attended sporting event of the year. Not postponed, canceled.
I'm telling you, this cancel culture is getting real ridiculous.
MLB delayed their opening day. NBA canceled their season because one of their players is fucking stupid. NHL postponed their season. They're going to try to pick it back up. There's no sports on.
The XFL's done.
Huh?
The XFL's done.
The XFL's canceled their season also.
Yep.
And if the XFL canceled their season, why is WrestleMania still running?
The interesting part about XFL is that they're paying everyone through as if the season had gone through. Basically, the Houston Roughnecks won the season. They were undefeated to that point. Mavericks? Who does Cuban Oven?
Mavericks.
Is it the Mavericks?
Cuban.
Coobs. I was going to say Coobs and I didn't. And then it came out as Cuban. So, oh well. Cubes has decided that he's going to pay all of his employees even if they're not going to run any more games. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of weird stuff going on.
And this isn't just, I know this is a wrestling podcast, but this is everywhere, man. Like, what about ROH, which you guys joked about in the chat? They canceled their pay-per-view, which was scheduled for tonight.
I still say they could have run. They only they drew 200 maybe. They would have been fine.
I understand it, but I think
indie wrestling companies are canceling not because that they're over the limit, but they want to look better than they are.
Well, I think it's more a perception thing. It's like, so you have AEW and WWE. What WWE is a performance center to run in front of. That's because, it's WWE. But AEW is canceling their shows. WWE's moving their shit to the performance center. Why is ROH still running? I think it's more of a perception thing than anything else.
Oh, I agree. Just the jokes about it is it's just right there. You have to take it. And you said something about this being a wrestling podcast, but this legitimately has affected, our jobs. My wife's looking at working from home now. They had a meeting about that.
My girlfriend, she's talked to me because she is a psychologist. The one that can't write prescriptions, a psychologist. Yeah, I don't know what my girlfriend does. Psychologist or a psychiatrist? She's a psychologist. They're now starting to scan people in. If you even have a cough, you're not allowed to go into the VA. She's pretty much told that she might be working from home. I know my coworker, his son got a note from school saying that they're closed till April.
Mm-hmm.
Colleges are doing online classes only. Now, what about room and board? Do they get reimbursed for room and board? Especially those people who are on, like Syracuse University. They go to campuses to get taught by teachers. Now it's all online. They don't have to be on campus.
Yeah, some of them are.
So
It's strange.
So, athletes, what about scholarships?
Yep.
Like, it's all fucked up. And then you get to the wrestling part of it to where, yes, WWE can literally hold all their TV at the Performance Center. They'll be fine. But you also got AEW who can't do that. You have, obviously, all these indie shows that got canceled that can't do that. WrestleMania should be canceled. Let's get to the wrestling part of this.
Yeah.
It should be canceled. You said something when we went to Philadelphia on Saturday, and you're like, I think it's, well, even before that, like in a chat, I'm like, it won't get canceled. And all of a sudden, widespread, let's just call it panic, happened. And
yeah,
in the matter of like 2 days.
Yeah, it was
And
like a light switch
it
happened.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, the more and more shit happened, and you're like, are you sure WrestleMania's not going to cancel? And I'm like, it has to be. It's got to be canceled.
At the
Like,
very bare minimum, it has to be postponed.
If the NCAA tournament, which their Final Four literally runs the Saturday before WrestleMania and the National Championship the day after, so they're canceled it. Why is Mania still running?
I'd agree.
And they're in Atlanta in another 80,000 seat stadium.
They're at Georgia Dome? Question mark?
That got torn down. Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Okay. Leave it to Mercedes-Benz to have stupidly big arenas.
Well, Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Anyway.
That's not the Silver Dome?
Sorry, brother. But this is, and then the wrestling aspects of this, and let's be honest here, it's not the most important thing in the world. The wrestling isn't. It's people's safety. And I get that the media's overblown this. Well, I agree to that to a certain extent. But when you have something that's wiped out all this stuff, the MLB season is getting postponed. World War II didn't even do that.
Right. Well, here's the thing, is that I think part of the reason why there's so much panic about it isn't the fact that, well, part of it is the fact everything's closing. That's not helping things. But this particular virus, it's scary in two different ways. Number one is that it has a long incubation period.
Yes.
So they can say up to 14 days, but even on average, it's 5 to 6 days before you start showing symptoms.
And also at the same time, I can have it right now and not be showing symptoms.
Exactly.
Which means
that can wait.
Which means every customer, excuse me, right on cue, every customer that I waited on today, if I had it, I just exposed.
Right. And that incubation time is up to 5 to 6 days. So yes, you could be having it for nearly a week before you start showing symptoms.
Right.
That's one part of it. The second part, there's no vaccine. So there's no way to guard against it. And it's been killing a lot of people, especially in the elderly.
Elderly and younger kids. And
well, actually, younger kids are not affected.
I'm sorry. I didn't. That's what I meant to say. The elderly and people with weak immune systems. And I'm scared to death for my girlfriend. She has a super weak immune system.
Yeah.
So, and she's scared. So
I don't blame her.
Yeah, that's it. It's tough. Like, we made plans Wednesday night for AEW. They canceled that. We made plans, and now she doesn't even know when she wants to leave home because her birthday's the next day. Is next week, so she doesn't know she wants to even go out.
Yeah, we're at a point where I've basically said to my wife, we really shouldn't be going out anywhere this weekend. You know, we have enough toilet paper.
Oh my god! So, let's get this straight here. Something that causes a fever, cough, and shortness of breath, you need toilet paper for?
It's craziness.
I understand that if I get sick, I'm quarantined. But you don't need 48 rolls of toilet paper for 14 days. I've literally gone through 3 rolls of toilet paper in fucking 3 months.
You obviously have not met my ass.
Oh, I met your ass. But at the same, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need that much. And people are buying them. Literally, all these in Canandaigua was almost ready to close because they don't got anything in there. Nothing.
Yeah.
My girlfriend went in there just to get some canned food. She went to go get more stuff, but the only thing they had was canned food, and even that was just, there's nothing in there. Mm-hmm. What are you people doing? There are literally, everybody needs to eat. By the time that you are able to finish all that stuff, it's expired. You just wasted money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are you buying cat food and dog food for your pets? Doubt it.
I bet that's all over there, you know? And it's
all the Lysol shit is done. It's going. It's simple. Wash your fucking hands, dude.
Hey. Yes, wash your hands.
And we talked about this when we were leaving Philadelphia. Sanitizer ain't going to help.
It will help for the immediate issues, but the reality is you need to be washing your hands anyway. The reality is sanitizer is only going to do so much. Sanitizer will help bring superbugs into light again, you know, and that's the bigger, my concern about all this is that everyone and their brother's using sanitizer as an alternative to washing their hands. And
right. And that's not what's good. Yeah.
They've already been talking about this years ago when, hospitals and doctors' offices were starting to use sanitizer as the main alternative to washing their hands when they're going from patient to patient. And it's been multiple times, there's been studies on it, and they're saying that it's already causing some issues inside the hospitals. So to have a community out there that's constantly using sanitizer rather than washing their hands is already going to cause some issues down the line. The coronavirus is going to be nothing in comparison to a superbug that goes through us.
Right. Again, we're just talking about our personal stuff here. Again, this is a wrestling podcast, but this is more, like I said, this isn't all about the wrestling. This is about common sense and just being safe. I had people in my store come in here with masks on, and I go, "Are you sick?" And they go, "No, I just don't want to get it." I'm like, "But why are you having a mask on?" The people who are healthy should not be wearing masks. It's the people who are sick.
Right.
So I understand it, but I mean, that's just common sense. Like, I understand you don't want to get, you can still get it. Like, you're covering your mouth, but I can literally sneeze on you, onto your head, and you can get it. So breathing it in is.
You're touching your eyes, you're touching your mouth, you're touching your nose. That's it. It's game over. I think one of the other things that we kind of wanted to get on the air and talk about to our one fan is that
our multitude of fan
that, you know, and I really want to stress this more than anything. The news is out there partially to make money. So you got to watch what they're putting out there. The reality is you need to be going to the World Health Organization. You need to be going to the CDC to really truly get what kind of the correct information that's out there. The reality is if you have a fever, you have a cough, a dry cough that's not bringing up anything up, or shortness of breath, you really should be tested for coronavirus. But in the reality of it, it's just a very bad flu. You're contagious. You can put it out there to other people. There are other people that are around you that could potentially have serious issues because of that. But at the end of the day, you're still dealing with a flu.
Right.
And as long as you are taking the precautions to keep yourself clean before you get it, and if you do get it, staying at home and not going to public places to pass it along, and just sleeping and getting over it.
Right.
That's all you have to worry about. All this craziness about buying 50,000 toilet rolls and toilet paper rolls. And I went to Walmart in Henrietta today to pick up a couple other things, and holy shit, everyone's got full carts of everything that they could possibly want. You go down the paper goods aisle, it's empty. It's like somebody just decided that they just gutted the place.
Yeah, Yeah, I went to the Geneva Walmart yesterday morning, and it wasn't that bad because it was still morning. It must have like hit like last night because when I was at work, a ton of people are saying, "Man, Walmart, Tops, Wegmans, even Family Dollar, Dollar General are out of everything." And I'm like,
Yeah.
I was just at Walmart in Geneva, and granted, their paper towel and toilet papers and cleaning section was, low. They still had some stuff, but all the food was there. Like they're saying that these shelves are fucking empty.
Yeah, everything's empty because everyone's buying everything.
But legit, for the few people that were in there, everyone had toilet paper. Every single person had toilet paper except me, and I was the one getting looked at like I was fucking weird. I was like, I just need beverages, man. Like, like I don't need toilet paper. I'm good on toilet paper.
Well, it's funny.
You don't need it either.
Legit. We go through a 30-pack over the course of a year, and we buy our 30-pack around January-ish at Costco, and we have more than enough to deal with us for a long time.
Right.
It doesn't last this year.
I even went on Amazon just to be curious. They're out of toilet paper.
Oh, it's craziness. There's eBay auctions where they're auctioning off 2-ounce bottles of hand sanitizer for $200. Like, holy shit.
Everyone's trying, and that's probably what they're doing. They're probably going to like Family Dollar or something, buying $1 worth of sanitizer and be like, oh, people are stupid enough to buy this, and some idiot will buy it.
Yeah. Well, there's a sucker born every minute, as
okay.
P.T.
So
Barnum
now
would say.
let's get to this. So WrestleMania,
it's not happening.
It's not happening.
I was saying it's not. It probably wouldn't happen a week ago.
Right. Do you think that if they do hold it, it will be at the Performance Center?
No.
Or just say, fuck it, and run it at like, turn a house show one Sunday in late April when they're able to run into a WrestleMania?
No. I think that they're going to move the entire event to June or July. Raymond James Stadium, obviously the home to the Bucks. I really do believe that they can find a weekend or two to put on a WrestleMania. If they're going to run WrestleMania, they're going to run WrestleMania.
Okay. Well, yeah, I understand that, but I'm just saying if they didn't want to run it that late, say, man, we're able to run, say, okay, WrestleMania is the 5th, say 12th, say the 19th. Like that weekend, they're able to run shows again. Do you think that like next weekend, they're like, okay, this house show that we have scheduled in Minneapolis, I don't know where the fuck it is, this example, Minneapolis at the Target Center, okay, now that's going to be WrestleMania.
I don't think so.
With the same card as WrestleMania, just in a smaller building.
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
Mainly because it doesn't make financial sense.
You're right, it doesn't, but at the same time, it gets WrestleMania. At least they're having WrestleMania in front of a crowd.
I think they'll have WrestleMania in front of a large crowd. This is a company, don't forget, that had the first mass gathering after 9/11.
9/11, yep.
So if you think that Vince McMahon in the back of his head isn't thinking, oh, holy shit.
Okay, so this was actually discussed on the Baseball Tonight podcast.
Mm-hmm.
They did compare this to 9/11, sort of. They said that, we knew, okay, once 9/11 happened, they knew at a certain date we could play baseball again. You don't know that with this. You don't know when exactly anything's going to start up. And to hold a WrestleMania in a big stadium like that, especially in Tampa where the weather can change like that, they got to have at least a week to set up the set.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree.
So, I don't know. I don't know.
I think it would be irresponsible to run it on the 5th. There's the reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where do you go from there? Do you just say, okay, we're fucking off with everything and redoing WrestleMania, but we're doing it first week of June? Because the reality is that coronavirus and just all flu viruses in general tend to die off once it gets warm enough.
Right.
So, while, yeah, you're right in the fact that there's really no set date where we could potentially say, okay, we're all getting back into arena again. There is a general idea that summertime is going to be okay. Here's the other thought, and this is a crazy one, but it's possible. What if SummerSlam becomes WrestleMania?
Just for this year?
Just for this year. It runs in Boston, but everything about it isn't SummerSlam. It's WrestleMania, just August 25th. You've effectively already sold tickets for it.
Do you hold it at TD Garden or do you hold it at Gillette Stadium?
You have to hold it in Gillette. I think you'd have to hold it in
What
Gillette.
about the people who bought tickets to Tampa?
So
And what about
you
the people
refund
who bought-
them?
Okay, go
You
ahead.
basically refund them and start over.
Okay.
At that, if you're going to move WrestleMania to another venue entirely, you have to refund. There's no good way
Absolutely.
of one-to-one exchanging, especially when you don't even know how it's going to look.
Okay, so now another thing is we actually technically booked our hotel for Tampa, but we were
Yes.
able to cancel it because we got the free cancellation.
Yes.
What are the people who didn't do that? Are the hotels actually going to be like, hey, or they're just going to say, well, shit happens.
Depends on how shindy your hotel is.
That's true.
I mean, if you have a hotel chain of any magnitude would refund your money.
Right.
Or would have enough of an idea to say, okay, we can't really refund your money, but we can change your date. Or we can change it to another hotel. I'll give you a $150 credit for someplace else. Later on in the year or something. Especially when you have WrestleMania potentially could be down there still.
Yeah.
You could say, okay, well, they're not coming till July 5th. Can you move my dates to July 1st through the 7th? I'm sure they would do that because then they get to hold on to the money. They're still losing revenue now, but they're
Look,
guaranteeing
getting it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But flights are kind of fucked.
Yep.
You'd have a case if you were from a country that was banned. Like, for instance, anybody in Europe can't come over here right now.
Nope. Only U.S. citizens can enter the country.
Right. So there are a lot of
even
people.
those U.S. citizens can still have the coronavirus. So
Right.
it's
So they're getting tested as soon as they get off the fucking plane or self quarantine. They're not getting tested yet.
right.
Which is a whole. We're not going to talk about the political nature of this because we could take this quick half-hour show and turn it into a 3-hour me screaming about universal healthcare and horseshit. But the reality is that the damage has already been done in terms of the lack of testing that we've had here. So now it's just a question of containing what we have got and figuring out who's got what where. And most importantly, trying to figure out what we should be doing about it.
And that's the thing. If the gestation period is, let's say, 2 weeks to a month, quarantine people, I mean, obviously you're not locking them up in cages or anything, but banning public gatherings is the right call.
It is.
Getting the people that you know are tested positive away from other people is the only essential way to, right now, that we can think of, because there is no vaccine, to do this.
But it's okay. UPW is running this week.
UPW?
Yep.
If you said UW, that would have made more sense. I'm very disappointed in UPW. No.
Like I wasn't already.
I've had people online saying that this is a crock of shit, this is bullshit, because they want their NASCAR. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but it's all bullshit, it's all media shit. I'm like, okay, So now, what would happen if you went to that show or that NASCAR event with your father, who's an older person, and he got it and died? What you be saying now?
Well, I'd be suing the NASCAR. They allowed me to come in there.
Well, they would say, well, that's not going to happen. How do you know it's not going to happen? Yes, it's bullshit. I find it, me being a huge sports fan, I have sports on almost 24/7. There's nothing for me to watch. I don't think it's bullshit, but I'm not happy. I get why they canceled the Masters or postponed it. The biggest golf tournament in the world, they postponed. They've canceled everything. There's nothing on. Am I pissed about it? Personally, yes. But I understand why. So don't call it bullshit and then not think it's not going to happen to you. Because guess what? It's in Monroe County. It could possibly be in Ontario County because there was a guy who had the symptoms that got arrested, and 3 Geneva police officers self-quarantined themselves today.
It's craziness. So, it's
so
just...
you do not know. It's literally 20 minutes from where I live. So
yeah,
possibly 20 minutes from where I live. They don't know yet.
Well,
but
I know for sure there's about 50 Brockport students not 20 minutes away from me that are all
self-quarantined.
And we know there's one case that's out there in Monroe County. So it's not like it's not like that it's just like 300 cases somewhere. We're up to 2,000 right now, I think, in this country. Right. In fact, in New York State alone, we just surpassed Washington State, who had the most cases. We just surpassed them overnight. It's craziness. And it's real. It's happening. And the question is what to do about it. And we've already talked about that. So I think the reality is to temper your expectations and the hysteria a little bit and just wash your goddamn hands. God damn it.
Out. Yeah.
Write it out.
Mm-hmm. So there may not be a lot for us to cover. Also, we are doing a show. Oh, but by the way, Tuesday, since I took off Wednesday, I'm working Tuesday.
Okay. Well, we can do it Wednesday because neither of us have anything.
Depends on what me and Lauren are doing because it is the day before her birthday.
Sitting in an apartment doing nothing.
Watching movies.
Probably. As I sit home all day remotely doing shit.
Yeah. So we'll be right back after this. We will have one more show. We are covering. The fuck are we covering? AEW Revolution.
Yeah, the Revolution pay-per-view.
There was another one, wasn't there?
It was going to be Ring of Honor.
Elimination Chamber are live, and I still gotta rewatch that.
Oh, by the way, part of SmackDown tonight was revisiting the only really, really good match on the show.
So the SmackDown Elimination Chamber match. I thought there was another event before AEW.
Not that I'm aware of.
If not, then whatever.
We'll probably be talking more about how we've been sitting at home for 4 days.
Not me. I still got to go to work every fucking day.
You say that.
I talked to my boss. I'm like, so, when are we closing down? He's like, we're a liquor store. We ain't fucking closing.
I need to come over.
Until one of these fuckers start coughing on me, and guess what, fucker?
Hey, I still need bottles of Everclear.
I got one left.
Fuck. Oh, well.
Literally. Somebody asked me what my highest proof liquor was, and I said that. He's like, I need it for sanitize my hands with. There's no sanitizer anywhere. I'm like, haha. He goes, no, I'm dead serious. I was like, wow, dude, really? I was like, yeah.
Yeah, there's a recipe out there that's 50-50 Everclear and aloe vera, and it's supposed
Also,
to be good
you
enough.
can just pour any alcohol on your hand and you're fine. It
Except there
doesn't
isn't
need to be
any
that
rubbing
high.
out. It only needs to be 65% for it to be effective. But calm your guys' tits, everyone.
Yeah, no, like I agree with that, but I mean, I'm kind of in the middle to where, like, yeah, the media is kind of overhyped, but at the same time, it is serious.
It's serious, but there's the media's taking the ball and fucking running out of the stadium with it.
Well, especially now when there's nothing else to talk about.
Oh God,
Even movie productions are getting shut down because of this. Tom Hanks has it. He is in quarantine in Australia. So, I mean, movies are getting shut down. Obviously, there's no fucking sports. All the sports get shut down. Concerts are getting shut down. There's literally nothing to talk about but the coronavirus, which doesn't help people's perception through the media on it, because, like, oh, that's all they're talking about. Well, there's nothing else. There's literally nothing else.
Well, look
going
at
on
our
in the world
show.
right
Our show is a great example of this. You know, we've decided to come online and do this quick show because of the coronavirus. I mean,
Right.
I like to consider us some reputable journalists on this show. But, I mean, at the end
Oh, by the way, fuck Dave Meltzer.
Yeah, we haven't said fuck Dave Meltzer yet. Who has been wrong multiple times over the last week. Let's just put that out there.
When isn't he wrong multiple times during a week?
Fair point, but more than usual. Let's just say.
Okay, puts examples. I've not seen any news or rumors.
Oh, just how many times he said that 100%. What was it? The Performance Center thing tonight. Multiple times people have said, yes, it's happening. No, it's happening. Yes, it's happening, but in a different arena. Yes, it's happening, but in an empty arena. Yes, the show's going on as planned. No, it's not going on at all. Because honestly, nobody knew. But Meltzer had to make sure to put out every single second of the blotter of whoever he's got paid in the back, Bruce, and just trying to feed as much bullshit as possible, whatever at this point. And
you have a lot of indie workers who are losing bookings because shows are getting canceled.
Everyone's freaking.
That's another side of it. Because WWE and AEW and some extent Impact and Ring of Honor, they got guaranteed contracts. So it's like, we have a downside guarantee. We're making this much. Yes, they're not making as much as they would on merch and live events, but at least they're doing it. But with indies, they rely on that fucking money.
Absolutely, they do.
And you have a lot of people who, and not just a lot of people who are not working because of this. And you also got concession people at these arenas and who aren't getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
And they're worried about when's my next paycheck coming.
Or if it's coming.
Or if it's coming.
Yeah.
That's right. Like, yeah, Mark Cuban's doing that. And Zion Williamson, who plays for the New Orleans Pelicans, says that he's going to pay for all the employees that work at the Smoothie King Center for 30 days.
That's great, but what do you do after that?
Yeah. They're hoping, well, to be honest, they're probably hoping that it's done before the 30 days. But this is a rookie in the NBA who doesn't make that, who makes way more than you and me, who doesn't make that much money compared to, the say, LeBron James. He's doing that. What are these stars who make a ton of money doing?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Because they can afford to not worry about it.
Right. And that's another reality of this situation.
And to be fair, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I'm kind of worried because, yes, I did crack a joke saying that when are we going to close? It's a possibility that if this thing gets out of hand, they're going to quarantine everybody just because.
There's a...
small, but it's possible.
So most people here know that, well, not all of them know that I work at a school district. And obviously I do IT work there, but there are many people in the school district that are hourly employees that if we close the school district will not get paid.
Right.
And that's a big concern.
Yes, you as an IT guy, you could, for some jobs, remote in and work.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing is that I'm kind of in a good position, ironically, because A, I can do that, but B, our main job would be making sure that everyone else could work from home. That would be our main thought process, and make sure the students are taken care of. But here's the other thing is that Cuomo came out today and said that the 180-day requirement for schools to be educating students so that they get their state aid is going to be waived this year. So if we close, there's a good possibility that they're just going to close the doors, lock them up, and not have to worry about, remoting in. And in that case, I may still have a problem. There's a good chance that I'm just sitting on my ass instead.
Yeah, if this gets out of hand, which I don't think it will get to that, but we've been wrong the whole time. I've been wrong the whole time. But I don't think it will get to that.
It's not a question of if, but when. And that was something that was not from me. That's from the Monroe County superintendents. So
no, I'm not talking about the school thing. I'm talking about like self-quarantining everybody.
First the schools, then where else? I mean, what else do you have left to close at this point?
But at the same time, people are listen. I don't think they'll come to be, but it would be bad if it did.
At what point do people just not go out?
Right.
And if they're just not going out, how does a little store like Henner's or something like that stay open?
We don't.
Exactly.
Like
so you may not be quarantined, but you're not.
To be fair, people are always going to buy liquor.
I mean, yes.
There's actually two things that are kind of recession-proof. Sex, like porn industry,
show world will be open,
and bars and liquor businesses.
Yeah,
yes, we see a dip in business, but we make enough money to stay open. Another concern is, say, one of our distributors closes.
Yeah,
say Empire Merchants North, where we get most of our liquor, closes.
Then you're really
that's
fucked.
80% of our store we can't get in.
Right. That's a problem.
And we're not the only liquor store that goes to the whole North New York State goes through them. Yeah. So it's a concern, But I'm being the optimist here. I don't think it will get to that. But man, if one of the warehouse workers test positive, they're shutting that fucker down. They're self-quarantining.
Yep.
And we're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
a concern.
It is a big concern.
It is.
It could happen. And
things that we didn't think could happen 5 days ago are now happening.
Right.
So multiple sports teams have been, postponed or canceled. So I mean,
multiple, all.
Yeah, well,
all. NCAA not only canceled the men's and women's basketball tournaments, they canceled all athletics.
And
all of it.
And that's a good. That's, like I said before, stuff like that isn't in the realm of possibility, and yet it's very much happening now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we've gotten pretty far here. So
we barely talked about wrestling, but
what else is new? I mean,
like we said, this is a little bit more about wrestling. We will be back sometime next week to record a show about wrestling.
Maybe.
So, I mean, even if we're quarantined, we got Skype. We're good.
We're doing this off of Skype now.
Right. So but that may be it for us for a while. Like, I guess we're gonna have to do some watch alongs, Sleazy, because
That's all we've got.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. I've got independentwrestling.tv.
I have WWE Network. So
between the two of us, we've got a lot of shows to review. So, but we'll be out there. I'm sure we'll find some content somehow to review.
we'll drop this tomorrow and be like, everybody's looked to the band. We'll be like, yep, typical Sleazy the Fat Man fashion.
Yep.
It won't happen, obviously, because this is going to be bad, but not bad, but this is something that's, man, it's going to go down in history as it wiped out everything. And again, it's a really bad flu. 80, I think it has like an 80% survival rate, but the people who have passed on it have been the elderly mostly. So just, if you feel like you have symptoms, like this is where the hypochondriac people are really going to fucking love it, but it's going to suck for doctors.
Yeah.
If you have a fever, if you have a dry cough, if you have
the key thing is shortness of breath.
Shortness of breath. Call the hospital beforehand. Don't just go in there and show up, because you could spread this to a lot of other sick people at a hospital.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want that. So call before, be like, these are what symptoms I have. What do I do? Call them. Be smart about it. Don't just run to a hospital or your doctor's office.
Mm-hmm.
Be smart about it. Think, I think I have this. Tell me what I need to do to get there.
Right.
Be smart, guys. Don't just be like, oh, it's just a cough. Because I cough a lot. I don't know why. I've even had lung biopsies. I've had x-rays on my lungs. They just tell me I just cough.
You just like to cough.
A cough is a cough. Yeah. Like, you probably heard it on the show several times. I just randomly start coughing. I just cough, So, but I know what I have. Because I've been like this since I was a kid. So
yeah, but for somebody like you, you'd be looking at the other symptoms. Do you have a fever? Do you have shortness of breath? Shortness of breath does not normally come up in even normal flu cases or cold cases. That's the key symptom here. If you're having trouble breathing in that respect, you need to start looking at calling your primary care physician, or calling your urgent care center, or calling the hospital and saying, okay, what do you want me to do?
Yes, absolutely. Shortness of breath is the big one. I'm like, we're fat. We're always short of breath. but no, like, yeah, kind of like that.
That sounded like me going up one step of the Rocky Steps last week.
Yeah, that was, yeah.
Check out our Facebook page for that video. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and we'll probably talk about that
next time.
The next show. And like I said, you might get a lot of watch-alongs from us. I know. And if you're quarantined, what better way?
What a better way to spend your quarantine by listening to us talk about the coronavirus. But that's pretty much it for tonight. So for Sleazy,
for the Fat Man,
this is The Wrestling Show. Thank you guys so much for listening. Peace.
I'm a truth that you seem to run from. I'm an army of one. I'm a clip in your gun. I'm the pain of the game. The blood shedding your name. When there's nothing to gain, all the world goes sad.
preceding presentation has been brought to you by the Gear Network.